Hey there, it's Workbench Quagmire back with our FreeCodeCamp Python certification in 100 days. It is the 100th video, so this is my last video on this certification, and I'm going to move on and do some other things. So I'll talk about that. I've talked about it in past videos. I'll talk about it probably in a future video here. Maybe put out a short or something explaining kind of what I'm going to do next. So, but first things first. Let's talk about a couple of the items that I had more trouble with than I didn't know as well. I wouldn't say I had more trouble with, but I didn't know as well. And kind of take a look at some of the reviews for this. So Big O notation. One of the things I would say about the test from my experience is be familiar with these things here, like what is logarithmic time, what is linear time, what is log linear time, so log linear time, and what is quadratic time. And so also constant time, or constant space, linear space, and quadratic space. Be familiar with those. Understand, let's go back to the actual section that covers that, because the theory section. Okay. Yep, here we go. So we go, for example, if an algorithm performs 7n plus 20 operations to be complete, the impact of the constant 20 on the final result will be smaller. Smaller as n grows. The term 7n tends to dominate and will define the overall behavior and efficiency of the algorithm. And so that would be linear because it's n to the power of 1. And then another example is an algorithm takes, this quadratic, and here this is exponential or quadratic time complexity. So now remember, the complexity is whatever this highest term is, largest term. So if this was 20 into the third, then it would be into the third. So that's sort of what I would tell you to kind of look through this, understand this stuff. You're not going to have to calculate anything. You will be asked about, potentially be asked about, different, like the breadth first and depth first searching, and kind of what their time complexity might be or space complexity. We'll look at that next. But here's a helpful graph. I think this is the thing I kept in my mind the entire time, was that obviously linear is a one-to-one relationship. Log linear is linear, but then we add basically these two lines together is what you end up doing. So, and log, it builds, but then it approaches whatever at some very slow pace. And then constant is a straight line down here. And this is quadratic time. So think about that. It may ask you like which one of these, takes up the most space or the most time or whatever. And it may say this or this, and you need to know that quadratic takes up much more time and space than linear for the same input. So that is something I would review. It's not like you get 6 questions about it. You'll get like 1 or 2, but it's in there. And so algorithms, I would say understand binary search. I don't recall any of the other algorithms being covered. And then graphs and trees. So theory section. What is a graph? How do matrices and adjacency lists work? So I had a question about that. Basically, like matrices and adjacency list, which is better, which scenario. How does depth first and breadth first? So the thing to remember there is that breadth first, you check everything at a level. So if you have 4 nodes at a level, you look at all 4 of those nodes. Depth first goes to the first node, to the first edge, and traverses down the first node, first edge, first node till it gets to the end. Then it goes up 1 level and then goes down and then goes up another 2 levels and it goes down. And so it's just like it says, it goes all the way to the bottom and then goes back up. Where breadth first, it goes across each level all the way to the bottom. Binary trees, tries, understand what those are. I didn't get any questions about queues or heaps or stacks or anything like that I can remember. So, but those are some of the items I would, for me, were more of the advanced stuff that there were some questions about on the exam. So my advice is to review those. And again, if you can complete this quiz, these are only like, I think 10 or 20. I would just go through there and make sure you could answer all these without missing any, because it's very similar. You have very similar questions to where, what is the undirected graph? Well, it's a graph where the edges don't have a specific direction. So a tree is a directed, non-cyclical graph. So things like that. That's all I got. That is my 100th video. Insert celebratory noise here. And thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.